We need the federal government to stop the endless flow of guns into our state and into our city. However, we will never be able to end gun violence in Chicago as long as the president continues to allow tens of thousands of guns to be trafficked into our state and our city. The vast majority of guns do not come from Chicago. These guns come from red states.
This is what feckless leadership looks like. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification of multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. If you like channel, like content, what I do here, you can support me with a link. Everything's appreciated. Gun online store is open. You can get 20% off with CGB20 free shipping. Connecticut residents, you got to pay that sales tax. I have no say in the matter, but CGB20 will get you 20% off. Take advantage. Let's talk about this. And if you remember a couple of days ago, I talked about the backlash from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson concerning Trump's move to put the National Guard in Chicago to police the crime that is going on there. This is after a Labor Day weekend, and that number has changed since I did the last video. Apparently, and I'm going to make sure this is absolutely correct, but 75 people were wounded, 20 killed over Labor Day weekend. That's the final tally. Yet this governor tells you that, oh, crime has been going down in Illinois. And he's quick to say that there's no emergency. We don't need federal troops. Even though we see that the crime in D.C. plummeted as soon as the troops hit the ground there. But this mayor and this governor are putting people's lives at risk for nothing more than politics. It's not the fact that the National Guard is there, it's the fact that who is doing it. Now, this genius, and this is a Mayor Johnson is the worst mayor in America right now. The worst. He would have been beaten by Tiffany Henyard if she had not been kicked out on the last election cycle. But he has what allegedly a 6% approval rating. 6% approval rating. Yet here he is, once again, standing up there grandstanding and jumping around like a fool, putting people's lives at risk.
Let's go. Let me hear you, Chicago. Let me get you a little bit more noisy out there. Yes. No federal troops in the city of Chicago. No militarized force in the city of Chicago. We're going to defend our democracy in the city of Chicago. We're going to protect the humanity of every single person in the city of Chicago. The city that birthed Yes We Can, and the city that will defend this country. God bless you all. God bless the labor movement. God bless the greatest freaking city in the world. Chi-town. No troops in Chicago.
You talk to the people on the ground, they're the first ones to tell you, we need help. But you look at the leadership, and they are playing politics at an exponentially higher rate than Trump has ever done so. This is insane. 75 people over a Labor Day weekend have been wounded, but there's no emergency in one city. But being the deflective genius that he is, because he is full of crap, I mean, it is unbelievable that even after Lori Lightfoot, that the people of Chicago elected a worse person to take over. But now he's decided to blame red states. He's claiming that Louisiana and Indiana and Mississippi are the reason why guns are flowing into Chicago and why they have a gun violence problem. I want to play his clip in full because I want you to get the context of this.
The federal government to stop the endless flow of guns into our state and into our city. Chicago police officers have taken more than 24,000 guns, illegal guns, off the streets of Chicago since I've taken office. Over 24,000 illegal guns taken off the streets of Chicago since I've been in office. They have worked hard every single day to make our city safer, and they've made historic progress. However, we will never be able to end gun violence in Chicago as long as the president continues to allow tens of thousands of guns to be trafficked into our state and our city. The vast majority of guns do not come from Chicago. They are not made in Cook County. They are not bought in the state of Illinois. These guns come from red states. They are coming from Indiana. They are coming from Mississippi. They are coming from Louisiana. And that is the harsh reality, whether Republicans like it or not. Occupying our city will do nothing to solve this problem. No matter how much work we do or how hard we work, whether it's expanding our Detectives Bureau, investing in community violence intervention, and addressing the root causes of crime, none of it will ever be enough until the president decides to end the mass trafficking of guns in our city. For every gun that the Chicago Police Department fights to get off the streets, 2 or 3 more new guns come into our city. Chicago will continue to have a violence problem as long as red states continue to have a gun problem. Shootings will continue as long as this presidential administration continues to put politics over people.
There it is. This is what feckless leadership looks like. No accountability, none whatsoever. Let's blame the red states. The biggest question you got to ask yourself is, well, if all the guns are coming from Indiana, Louisiana, Mississippi, why don't they have the same gun crime problem and gun violence problem that the city of Chicago is having? If Illinois could remove Chicago from its gun violence total every year, they would be in the bottom 10% for gun violence. One city drives the gun violence in that entire state. It's the same thing. As you heard some of these geniuses saying that red states have gun violence issues too. Yes, they mentioned Tennessee. Okay, Tennessee does have a gun violence problem, but where is it centered? Memphis and Nashville. What do those two cities have in common? Democrat-run bastions and have been so for decades. Soft on crime, which is also Chicago's problem. Let me give you an example of how soft on crime they are.
This woman in Chicago was walking down the street and was punched in the face.
She's worked in the Loop for the last 20 years and was walking with a co-worker to the train a couple of weeks ago when she says a stranger blew through them and lashed out, striking her in the face.
There was no way to be prepared for this.
She suffered a litany of injuries, including a broken nose and multiple facial fractures.
Let's check in with the esteemed mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson.
Chicago will continue to have a violence problem as long as red states continue to have a gun problem.
Of course, it's those pesky guns that keep doing this. Let's see if we can find out the name of the gun who did this.
According to police, she was assaulted by 32-year-old William Livingston. A record search produced 13 mugshots of Livingston going back to 2012. A large number of those arrests for aggravated assault and battery of both women and police officers. In 2017, he was accused of randomly attacking 2 women months apart. Both cases were dropped. In 2022, Livingston was sentenced to 5 years in prison after prosecutors said he punched and attempted to rob 4 women within 20 minutes in the Loop. And yet, just 14 months later, in 2023, while on parole, Livingston was arrested for hitting a woman in the face on North Michigan Avenue. And in 2024, he was sentenced to 100 days in prison after punching a 15-year-old girl, also on North Michigan Avenue.
If he really cared about violent crime, go after the gun manufacturers who are just mass producing these weapons and have no liability or accountability.
That's right. Why do these guns keep letting these repeat offenders back onto the streets? This kind of problem hasn't even been limited to Chicago. Yep, it seems these guns are making people unsafe everywhere.
These different women are going viral on social media for sharing a similar story.
I was literally just walking and a man came up and punched me in the face. So I just got punched in the face
walking home. The alleged assault happening in New York City, causing black eyes and even swelling on the victims in broad daylight for no apparent reason.
Lastly, let's hear from the governor of Illinois on what we should really be focused on.
Look, big cities have crime. There's no doubt about it. But let's just pay attention to what President Trump is doing.
Heard that and you saw that. This man has been an habitual offender for smacking women, unannounced, unprovoked, habitual, and yet he still ends up on the street doing it over and over again, and he just struck another woman. And what do you think they're going to do to him? Come in there, Brandon. Tell us what gun control law would have helped these women who have probably been victims of this for God knows how long from this one person. 13 arrests for the same thing over and over and over again, and they keep letting them out. Yeah, it's guns from other states that are the problem. No, maybe it's a culture issue. And here is some more facts, and I want to make sure I put this correctly. In 2023, the ATF put out data showing that Illinois is the top source of firearms at 9,147, which Indiana only had 2,796. They always blame Indiana for the gun problems in Illinois. Yet, according to the ATF, most of the guns found were sold in Illinois. They were within the state. So Brandon Johnson is once again blowing smoke and is coming from the wrong end. This is what feckless leadership looks like. I'm stunned. But then again, the people of Chicago voted for this. So it's kind of hard to feel sorry for them. I mean, there are plenty of them who basically did not vote for this. But he's in charge. And he is basically driving that city into the dirt. Now, Pritzker claiming that he's thinking about running for president in 2028. Apparently, a last poll came out finding him to be at 2% as favorability to run for president. He may win the leftist lunatic vote, but in a general election, he doesn't stand a chance. But these two are basically putting the people of Illinois, they're putting these people's lives in jeopardy, not because of the National Guard being there, but of whom is sending the National Guard there. This is a disgrace. And Brandon Johnson is once again showing himself to be the piss poor leader that he is. And as a black person, I am ashamed that this is the best that we could put up for leadership in one of the biggest cities in the country. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.